I think One Touch of Nature is an optimistic work. It asks a few questions, but I think the answers are within our grasp. One Touch of Nature has two main themes. One is how, as a mostly urban society, many of us lose touch with the natural world, and we don't spend enough time outside in nature. And the other theme is the ability of nature to renew itself. I've written a lot of music for film and television, and generally it has to have some sort of narrative feel to it. You're telling a story and you're using the language of music to tell a different story. You're either sort of underlying emotions, or you're giving a narrative sort of element. You're trying to tell people time has passed and, you know, we're going on a journey. And I think that musical language has sort of seeped into One Touch of Nature in the harmonic language. One Touch of Nature was commissioned by the Norwegian girls' choir of the cathedral in Trondheim, and they said we wanted to be about 20-25 minutes, and it can be about anything. Well, there's nothing more scary than the blank sheet of paper, and I thought, well, what should it be about? It's for a youth choir. These are girls aged from about 10 to 18, and so I thought, well, maybe a nature topic would be something that would inspire them. So that's how I came across this idea of doing a piece related to the natural world. And it's something that I'm very interested in anyway. Choosing the texts for a choral work is, of course, the most important thing. And it was quite difficult because I had an idea of what I wanted to convey, and I had this poem in my mind which I've known forever since studying the Romantic poets, which is Keats' poem, La Belle Dame sans Merci. And one of the lines is, "The sedge is withered from the lake and no birds sing." Well, Keats uses that as a metaphor for a relationship that has withered and died. And once you've heard this phrase, you never forget it. And I wanted to use it in a sort of literal sense, that the world is in the grip of winter. Apart from the Keats text, I found a text from Swinburne, and he refers to a one waste world. Earth lies exhausted, powerless. So this is the beginning of the piece. It is supposed to evoke a picture of a cold, empty world. But it's not without promise. So there's an energy to it, a sort of pent-up fury that might lead to some positive action. So having had our first two movements about the earth as a lifeless, empty place, the third movement starts to ask some questions. Is the time not come yet? What can we do about it? If we give nature the chance, maybe nature will give us a chance as well. So having asked the questions, there's a moment in the fourth movement where spring arrives. Rise up, my fair one, and come away. This is a very well-known text from the Song of Solomon, but a lovely text to set to music. So having had the evocation of the coming of spring, we're on a rather more optimistic journey at this stage. And I use these lovely words by John Burroughs. I go to nature to have my senses put in order. And then I go into a very sort of energetic piece, setting the words of Byron about there being pleasure in the pathless woods, rapture on the lonely shore. And we're in the part of the work where I'm seeing a little optimism about how the world could indeed be better if we take pleasure in these wonderful wild places. And then finally, one of the solo voices asks the question at the end of the piece, how far are we from home? What I take that to mean is how far have we come from where we should be in our relationship to nature?